Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Fangirlz Assemble. We're back.
We're back.
Maddie and Kristan, and we're
Yeah.
here on Sunday at 8 p.m. A regular time, people.
Can you believe it?
Wow. Who would have thought? Not
I
me.
mean,
So, before we talk about anything, of course, we cannot start a show without talking about our wonderful sponsor, InStockTrades.com. Now, Kristan, tell me about those deals.
oh my gosh. I can't stop telling you about these deals, Maddie. InStockTrades.com has the best deals. Right now, if you go to their front page, InStockTrades.com, you will see some 50% off books. Those are there every week until Tuesday when the site updates.
And
you're going to see
some great ones.
Yeah, there's some great ones right now. You got your Absolute Dark Knight 3. You got your Annihilation Omnibus. Everybody's been waiting for that reprint. Injustice Gods Among Us Omnibus. That's a big chunker.
Especially because that includes years 1 through 3. And currently, the deluxes, we only have 1 and 2 out. The third one doesn't come out yet. So,
oh, that's kind of cool they did that.
Yeah.
That doesn't usually happen.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's an expensive book, but you can get it for 50% off on In-Stock Trades right now. It's $62.50. I mean, you're not going to get a better deal. Plus, their packaging, and at $62.50, if you live in the United States, it's already free shipping. So you got a great deal. You got free shipping. Their shipping's amazing. I will tell you guys, I ordered some books from someplace else, I won't say where, on Black Friday, okay? And that box came, and there was a big old hole in it because the boxes, typical boxes, are so flimsy, right?
Especially for these heavy-ass books.
For heavy-ass books. And In-Stock Trades, though, they don't skimp out, okay? You get free shipping, but the boxes are, like, made so well. They're so thick. And if you guys have ordered from them, you know they're really thick boxes, and the packaging is incredible. And you're not going to beat it anywhere else because I've tried. It doesn't work. So you should go there. They're the best.
That's true. Red Sonja is not 50% off, but I believe that Omnibus.
It's some sort of good deal, I'm sure.
I'll look it up right now so I can tell you. You know what? I should never have typed in Omnibus. There we go. Oh, it's oversized. Sorry, Red Sonja Complete Oversized is 30% off. So instead of $50, you spend $35.
Hey, that's a great deal, though.
Oh, Larry, congrats.
Yay!
It's beautiful. One day I'll venture across the seas and experience the IST packaging of legend. It's beautiful. Breed. Watch your fucking mouth.
Uh-oh. Kids, go to bed.
Go to bed.
It's not the show for you.
This show is not for kids, which I mention only so your babies out there will know how cool you are for listening. What's up, you cool babies? Okay, so.
Yep. Oh, you know what?
What?
Let's go ahead and tell people what we're doing Wednesday. So
Okay.
They know.
So, Wednesday, we're going to do a show about reviewing these beautiful books. And I'm going to think of a witty title for it. So, TKO has released their second round of books. And so if you haven't heard about TKO before, we do have an interview with the creator. I was out that episode, but TKO is a newer publishing company, and they either release, like, you can buy their books. You buy the books all at once. So it's like binge reading is how they say it. And you can either buy it as, like, 6 individual floppies in like a slipcase.
Nice box.
Right?
Yeah.
Or you can buy the trades or digital. And so they were kind enough to send us these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful trade paperbacks.
They're gorgeous. And they're oversized.
They're beautiful.
And if anyone has picked up any of these from the second wave, please smell your books. I told Maddie before the show, I'm like, have you smelled your books yet? And she's like, what are you talking about? There's this we're going to talk about it more Monday. I am, at least. But as I was reading them, the smells were wafting in my nose. They're so inky. I don't know how to describe it. It's not even like a bad smell.
Yeah.
But it smells like freshly printed books. I don't know. I've never smelled this in a book before. So if you guys have books from the second wave, please smell them. Tell me what you think. I need to know.
So yeah, stick in for that and check us out on Wednesday for these reviews. Well, I think for these we can definitely do like a mostly non-spoiler review of that for you all.
Totally.
And we can leave like maybe a 10-minute time to talk about spoilers or something, but we'll definitely have like a disclaimer. But these are so beautiful. When I pulled them out, I was like, oh my God, what a treat. And look at those spines.
It's good spines. They're so colorful.
And they feel good against your face. So
yeah, that's true. So they smell different and they feel good against your face.
You better call it TKO'd. Okay.
That's pretty good.
I like it.
I like it too.
I went to the mall day and local comic book store, had Dubros that didn't know Hellblazer was Constantine. Wow. Went to bookstore and graphic novels were mixed with prose books to a success. Full of all of those peeps.
Nice.
Ooh, it reminds me, I see a lot of these stores have the same, like a kind of similar problem. The second in Charles where Kristan lives. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
And my Half Price books do the same thing. Like, they do a thing where they put some of the young adult graphic novels in with the manga, as if they didn't take the time to really look at it.
Yeah.
And it's really weird.
It's like, annoyed. Like, Bloom was in the manga section, and I'm like, what are we doing here? And, like, Laura Dean was over there, and I'm just like, because they're a little shorter, you got confused? I don't understand. Like,
I was like, there's no Japanese names on this.
No, doesn't make sense. Or, like, putting Scott Pilgrim in manga. I'll never get over that.
Oh, yeah, and that still
right.
happens. I'm like,
yeah.
Technically, it's not.
No, it's not at all.
TKO have such a beautiful, sweet smell. My fearsome Dr. Fang and Sarah have dissipated a bit. Huh.
Oh, interesting. I wondered if the first wave. I haven't read any of those. So I guess it's weird. I don't understand it, though. I'd like to know why they smell this way. That's something I should have asked him.
Oh, we can tweet him. My Gotham City Siren smells like vanilla when I took it out of the plastic. I don't know anyone else who had that happen.
That's nice.
Interesting. See, that tempts me to like. It had like
smell everything.
Spraying their letters before they sent it off. See it, like, before we send them. Fangirlz After Dark presents TKO Wave 2 book reviews and smell-o-vision. Hellblazer even said Constantine in the title and didn't know it. That bookstore at Tilly Walden and had 2 recommended by the staff.
Oh, good.
That's nice. But they have a dedicated graphic novel section with manga separate. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Also, Freddie, I saw that you got Nimona today. That's awesome.
I put it on my wish list.
Oh, girl. That's something we should review together. I would love to reread that. It's been years. It's a good one.
Let's do that.
We should. Well, today we're going to talk about things we've read.
Yeah. So when Kristan said she has stuff that she read that she want to talk about, I was like, oh man, I don't think I've read anything. And then I looked in my comic book room. I was like, oh wait, I've read like 6 things I haven't talked about in the show.
There you go.
So great.
Perfect.
What you been reading?
Yeah, I'll start off. So recently I read Island Book by Evan Tom. I switched the letters. Look at this cover. Can we just marvel at this cover for a second? That's a really good cover.
It's pretty.
I really like it. So Evan is known for self-publishing everything. This is the first thing he's done with the publisher. It's first second. So come on now. He did Rice Boy. That's probably the biggest thing he's done that people may know. But I adore his art. I find it beautifully simple, and the colors are just fantastic, and I really, really like it. So this story is about this girl on the cover. And one day on her little island, let me try to find a good picture of it. This monster comes out of the sea and like attacks the whole island, right? And kind of devastates the island. I'm not going to find it now, am I? Well, here's the waves and stuff. But a monster comes out, and this monster specifically targets her. Mm-hmm. And because of that, and she's a young child, by the way, because of that, everybody thinks she's cursed. And they start, pushing her away and kind of bullying her and saying, you're cursed. You're the reason that this happened, So she's like, forget this. If everyone's going to treat me like this, I'm going to get on a boat and I'm going to find this monster and figure out what's going on. So again, she's just a child, but she goes on this journey and she's like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to find this monster and I'm going to defeat it or whatever has to be done because I don't think I'm cursed and I don't know what's happening. So she then just goes on a journey onto all of these different islands that she's never been to, and 'cause she's only experienced her own island and her own people, and she meets all these different people, and she kind of just collects people from different islands on the way. Like there's always someone that she ends up meeting who also feels like they want to journey off and like either go on an adventure or also have some reason to like fight this monster and find this monster and figure out what's going on and why this monster is like attacking places. So it's all about her journey and the people she meets within her journey. And it's funny, I finished this and I really liked it, but it is clearly book one in a series.
Oh.
So I got to the end and I was like, oh no, I want to know what happens. But I noticed on the side there's a little one.
They snuck it in there.
They snuck it in there. And it is sneaky in there because I finished it and I went on Goodreads and I checked out the reviews for it. And so many people are angry. They're like, I don't know what I read. And this didn't even like, there was no, resolve. And I'm just like, I think people missed that this is just the first book because it kind of wasn't made clear on the cover, right? You don't really know, which doesn't always happen, I guess. But I think it's definitely worth the read, knowing that there's another book coming. There's definitely a book coming. I felt I felt compelled to actually write a review on Goodreads to tell people. I was like, hey, heads up, this is the first in a series, because all these reviews were like bad reviews and they were angry because it didn't really wrap up entirely because there's another book coming. So I really enjoyed this. I think it's definitely worth it. This one's going to fly under some people's radar, but it was a great first published work. I'm looking forward to the rest of the series. I don't know how long it's going to be. I do know he's working on book 2, and I think it comes out in like May. So I definitely check this out. People love First Second, right? So
wish list.
Yeah, definitely do that. The next thing I read, which I adored also, and everyone on the internet, if you've ever been on the internet, guys, and you're currently on there, you probably know Strange Planet by Nathan Powell.
It's out.
Pyle, rather. These little alien comics. Yeah, which I got this from my library, but like it's so fantastic. If you guys, just Google Strange Planet right now, you can read all of it online. But this is a collection of his, web comics, and they're so good, and they'll make you feel things, and they're so funny, and it's just great. So everyone needs to read this because it's so good.
Let me add that to my wish list too.
Then I read, this is from Insight Comics, which I never read anything from them. It's called, I guess, Vi? I want to say Vi when I see this, but I'm not positive.
Pretty hardcover.
Yeah, it's very oversized. It's shiny. The art is pretty great. It's been a bit since I've read this, but let me try to remember exactly what's happening here. So let's see, there's a lot of gods and mythology in this. And it starts out, she's like in the water and dying. And then a ship brings her on board and like ties her up, right? And she meets this guy and this big storm happens. And she has to like fight gods and stuff. And she's real badass and pretty cool. So that's a really vague description, but that's pretty much what's happening here. And there's a lot of, let me find a good picture of these big gods in here. It was fun. It made me want to be like, again, it's the first in a series, and you felt that at the end.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool. And Inside Comics, I don't know. I've never read anything from them. Let me know in the chat if you guys have.
Yeah, I'm gonna
but I enjoyed this. It was a little bit like super full of Norse mythology, which I'm not honestly a huge fan of, but I did enjoy it.
Oh, I love Norse mythology.
I was gonna say this would probably be right up your alley.
Yeah.
But I liked her fighting and the things that she went through, and it did have some Red Sonja elements, I'd say. Now that I've read that, I can totally see that. And here are the big like gods that she encounters, and
I'm down.
Yeah, I think this is something you would definitely enjoy. Again? It's called Vi.
Vi. V-E-I.
V-E-I.
Add that to my wish list.
So this is pretty cool.
Volume 2 comes out in February.
Nice. I'll probably get it because I'm like, well, I'm interested enough to like know what I want to know what happens, and this is a really good cover too. I like this cover. And it's nice and oversized. So then the last thing, I read all the TKO books, but I'm not going to talk about those yet. But I really want to talk about this because it's probably my favorite thing I read. It's called White Bird by R.J. Palacio. I got this from my library. You can get it. I'm sure you can get it at your library because if you see this right here, this is a Wonder story. If you guys know Wonder.
I have that book.
Have you read it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I loved it. Wonder is about this boy, Augie. He has a facial deformity and kids are mean to him and it's bad. But ultimately, he wants to spread kindness and treat people the way like he wants to be treated. And, you know, it's just a real positive story, right? So that's great. This is about, you don't have to have read that, but if you have, you're going to know like one of the characters in it. So it starts out with Julian, present day. Julian's one of the kids that bullied Augie.
Yeah.
But he did realize that his behavior was bad and wants to like change that. So it starts out with Julian. He FaceTimes his grandmother and he tells her that like he has this project that he's doing at school and he wants to know about her life. So she's like, well, I think it's time that like I tell you about this and, you know, it's going to be hard for me, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
So the majority of the book is his grandmother as a child. It starts out 1930s France. She is Jewish growing up at that time.
Yeah. Nazis
invade, of course, and horrible things happen. So it's her story about surviving all of that. And, you know, Nazis are obviously taking Jewish people into concentration camps, what happened with her and her family. I won't ruin the whole thing, but she ends up, you know, Nazis invade her school that she goes to, which has all different kinds of religions.
Yeah.
The teachers there are really great, and they try to hide the children. She runs away from that group, and that's ultimately how she survives, because Nazis end up bringing those teachers and those children away. They end up going to concentration camps. She runs away and hides in like a bell tower. And in this tower, this boy, who's one of her classmates, he has polio, so he uses crutches. All these kids bully him and kind of don't give him the time of day, right? Yeah. And therefore she doesn't. You know, he's sat next to her forever and she never really gave him the time of day because she didn't want to deal with what he dealt with, you know? Yeah. She's a kid and kids are like that sometimes. Well, he ends up taking her back to his home and letting her live in their barn.
Yeah.
His family's barn. So his parents take care of her for, you know, I guess I won't give it all away, but it's the story of her like hiding in this barn for like a long time and trying to figure out her life. She's away from her parents. She doesn't know what happened to them. But this great, gracious family, like, you know, lets her hide there. And it's the story of her life. And she got to know this boy that she, you know, didn't give the time of day before, but he ends up being a really nice guy. And it's so good. It's so well done. You know, the history is very on point and accurate. There's a big thing at the end of like some essays. Like she has a lot of ties to, you know, the culture and her family dealing with stuff. And it's clear that like she knows what she's talking about. And, you know, there's some good things in the back about the history that, you know, this came from. But anyway, so I don't want to give a lot of it away, but it's really great. R.J. Palacio did all the illustrations and the you know, coloring and stuff. And I'm like, I didn't know she could do all that. So she could do everything, which is awesome. But this is really great. And I think this one's going to fly under a lot of people's radar. But if you've read,
I heard about it.
Yeah, even if you haven't read Wonder, you can just jump into this and you're going to have a great story. So everyone should pick this up. That's what I read.
Okay, my turn. So, most of this is library books. Let's go through. So one of the books I read was Open Borders: The Science and Ethics of Immigration.
For a second.
This is by Brian Kaplan, who is an economist, and with art by Zach Weidersmith. So all of this book deals with is talking about. It's more of like just a study on immigration and a study on. Brian Kaplan is trying to propose having open borders and doing unrestricted immigration. And he talks about the pros and cons of that and deals with it in different ways, like with as far as like financially, as far as culturally, etc., security reasons. So I got my master's in security studies and diplomacy, which is like international relations. So I loved this. The art is very simplistic. You know, you could see this as being almost like a cartoon would be describing this this subject. What I really like about it is that it's very digestible. I've read a lot of academic books and articles about open immigration, immigration trends, predictions, and more. And honestly, it's hard for a lot of people to get through, right? But I think he did a very, very good job on this, because he really does do a good job of exploring the pros and cons. Like, he obviously is giving you his view, you know, but he tries to answer every different type of person and different philosophies and answer those questions. And even at the end, there's a part where he gives his recommendations for the world, but I think he does focus more on the U.S. as far as like policy changes that could happen that would appease both sides, but still allow for immigration and growth. You know, and again, like it's very, very digestible. It's very interesting. Like I think I haven't read like a more, I guess, modern political book like this. Like that's a graphic novel, but I really like it. I think honestly, I recommend it to anyone. Oh, shut up, highlighter. You know what I mean?
People are afraid we're smelling the books, we're feeling the books.
You can easily comprehend it. I think it's good. You know, a lot of people say I don't want politics in my comics, right? Now this one is very much political, but I think it's great for anyone. And I think if you've been interested in the issue at all, regardless of where you are in the political spectrum or where you stand on those views or policy views, it's a very interesting book to read, and I super recommend it. I loved it. Everyone should pick this up. I think I'm going to buy it too. I'd love to even buy a copy and send it to my grad school.
Nice.
And I went to and be like, hey, this is an easy way to explain it. Yeah, so that's Open Borders. I also read Fun Home by Alison Bechdel. So she was the one behind the Bechdel test. And this is my first thing I've ever read by her. So I think that's written and illustrated by her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is like a memoir of her life. Especially like her as a child. But it does focus on a little bit more on her father. So you get to kind of follow Allison and her family, as well as like Allison's own growth as a person and with her queerness. But you also learn pretty early on that her father, I think you could, well, yeah, I don't know how, I'd say sex offender. that her father like had some sexual exploits. Larry asked, what's the Bechdel test? So the Bechdel test, she's the one that came up with the Bechdel test. The Bechdel test is like seeing how...
It's like... we're like, how do we explain it?
I think in a small way, I can put the parameters in. Basically seeing like, do the women that are shown in media actually interact with other people? Are they there for more of a reason? So like, in order to pass the Bechdel test, there's a few different standards. Like two different women need to talk, like have to be in a conversation together and not talk about like men.
That can't be the reason they're talking. Yeah,
that can't be the reason that they're talking.
Which shockingly, so many, that's the one that they fail on. You know, if you watch any shows, it's like they're coming together to talk about a husband or like someone, and it's like, oh, you've already failed this. You know, your purpose is here only to talk about this.
That's good. A measure of representation of women in fiction. It asks whether work features at least two women talk to each other about something other than a man.
Philip copied that from Wikipedia.
Oh, damn, Philip.
It right now.
The requirement that the two women must be named is sometimes added, yeah. It's the most basic sexist test. It's so simple. It's one, have two women need to have a conversation about men and have names.
Yep. It's so simple, yet it's so often, still to this day, failed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I definitely recommend watching some YouTube videos about it. There's a lot of, like, I can't name any of them, but I know there's been a lot of, like, YouTubers that have gone together and be like, okay, let's rate all these different movies or show you the scenes in which these movies, like, which these women interact at all.
Mm-hmm.
I saw something similar done with, it was done by the guy who plays Carlos in Welcome to Night Vale, but he put together a YouTube series with, like, he would take a movie and show you all the lines that people of color have in a movie.
Oh gosh,
and let me tell you,
that's probably sad.
It's incredibly depressing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the background on Allison. So again, this is just a memoir about her life. I really like the art, honestly. In this red, it seems like the text, she definitely fills up a page with a lot of detail. Her art's a little simplistic, and it's really interesting too because she learns that her father was queer, and she kind of has one of those families that has this sort of like picture perfect life from the outside, but on the inside is very cold. You know, you have a father that doesn't know how to connect with anyone, who is very like strict on appearances, and you've got a mother, you know, that was an immigrant who married this man who obviously comes from a Catholic background and can't like divorce, and she's stuck in this, right? And so it's all about Allison trying to kind of connect with her family and make sense of it, because by the time she's written this, her father's already dead. So she's trying to kind of like connect with this and make sense of it and kind of show where she comes from as somebody who still has these memories of this father who did things she doesn't approve of, right? But also realizing that she found a similar person in her, like as far as like they had similarities of queerness and interests. It's really good. I would not have picked this up, I think, just by looking at it, if I hadn't seen Erica Henderson post like a list of books she was bringing to like a Harvard class that she was teaching on graphic novels. And I'm really glad I picked it up. It's a very interesting read.
And it got turned into a Broadway musical. So
oh, really?
From that, yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't mean to grimace, so I was like, ugh.
How does that work? Yeah.
The Daredevil season 1 took 7 episodes to pass the test. Wow.
I can see that, though.
30 seconds. JJ. Oh, Jessica Jones. Yeah. That's funny. I need to do some more, like, into that. I wonder how well some of the Marvel movies do.
I'd say it's going to take them a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the other one? Every Line by POC is such a great video series. I used it on my blog about diversity for a class. If I had to do a thesis about film, that'd be the basis for sure. Yeah. Oh, okay. So POC lines is also just screen time too. I gotta tell you, some of these movies, it's like,
yeah,
you watch the videos like 4 minutes.
That's awful.
That's it. Ooh. How does Downton Abbey do? I don't know. I've never seen it.
I'd say bad. I'm gonna go with bad.
Next one is Andre the Giant.
I read that. Life
in Legend by Box Brown. I loved this. I loved this book. Now, for Andre the Giant fans, I think they do portray him honestly.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, if you think that he's warm and cuddly, no.
Yeah. So you're going to see the good and the bad about this guy. But regardless, it was very... I loved going on this adventure with him and seeing his life from the beginning to the end and seeing the effect he had on people and the way he interacted with people. The art is very cartoony and cute, and I love it. I think they do a good job of, like... Let me find a good picture of him. Well, look at how cute he is. Look at that.
Yeah, I love his art.
I think they do a good job of drawing this, like, lovable giant, you know. It's a very interesting dude, and he just, like, really liked wrestling.
Yeah, it was a fascinating read. Like,
yeah.
If anything, I was like, this is interesting. It did not make me like him, but it made me go, he was very interesting. This was interesting. Oh,
man. I recommend it. I I was a wrestling fan growing up. My dad and I used to watch wrestling together. But I think regardless if you're a wrestling fan or not, I definitely recommend picking this up. He's just an interesting guy to read about. And of course, if you've seen Princess Bride, you know him. Box Brown is the perfect mix of simple and effective. Exactly. Because honestly, I mean, this art is very simplistic. The story is very simplistic. You know, I think it's...
Yeah.
But
it's really well done.
Yeah, it's almost heartwarming in a way, but it's not. I don't know how to describe it, but it was just a nice read. I don't know. I really recommend it. I think everybody should pick it up. I really, really liked it. I'd like to read more Box Brown now.
I agree. I enjoyed it. Reed's read like all his stuff and loves it.
Okay, well, Reed, you can give me some recommendations.
He'll tell you read Tetris. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay, so next one is Black Canary Ignite by Meg Cabot. So this is another DC Ink book. So far, with all the DC Ink books I've read before this, the only one that I could really say was really good was Harley Quinn Breaking Glass.
Is that Ink or Zoom? Because I thought that was a like younger audience one.
Oh, it is Zoom. Oh, you're right.
So not teens, but like middle grade.
Yeah. Okay. So never mind. It's Zoom. Thanks, Kristan. It's hard for me to tell. I just assume they're all ink. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so this is DC Zoom, graphic novel for middle grade, I guess. So this is about Diana Lance Black Canary. It's another origin story. She's 13 in this. But you're typical, like, she's in a rock band, right? Her dad's on the force. And she wants to join the junior, like, police league to go fight crime in Gotham, be like your dad. And her dad's like, no way, I'm not going to let you do that. And right around then, right before Battle of the Bands, she gets canary powers and doesn't know what to do about it. And it's all about her kind of like trying to figure this out and fight some crime and also learning a few secrets about her parents at the same time. I like this a lot. I thought it was an easy read, obviously, but it's cute. It's all color. It was a cute little read. I like it. I think they did a good job. This is better than a lot of the Ink titles. Honestly.
Yeah, I read half that. And I say that because then it was returned via Hoopla and I forgot to finish it. But I did like what I read. I think I got to the part where she kind of learned her powers and her parents and everything. And it was fun.
Yeah, it's really cute. I know, and like her canary outfit's really cute. Because just like her on a scooter. I like it. It kind of reminded me of reading like Gem and the Holograms, like that kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I dug it. I thought it was super cute. If you like DC stuff, I'd read it. If you like Diana Lance, I'd read it. If you have a younger person in your life to recommend it to, go for it. Drew, that's not true. You know that's not true. At least you'll go with some nuggets on hand, not wondering if Maddie likes to push something up. Oh, I think you responding to that then. I'm considering picking up the Zoom Super Sons books, but I can't deal with them changing Damien's names. They changed his name?
That's weird.
I checked that out, but I haven't read it yet. Is it this one? Why did they change his name? Ian Wayne.
What's the point of that? That's weird.
Also, this one I picked from the library has obviously been heavily read because it is in bad condition.
Yeah.
A child was reading this as they
pulling
should.
it. Yeah.
Me complete. How dare this child read these?
This child didn't take care of them.
Man, that's
odd.
Kids not? Do they think kids can't say Damien? Oh, is it too?
Oh, yeah.
Is it too Satan-y?
Yeah, is that it? That's weird.
Hayden, in America, let me tell you, the Bible Belt gets mad about a lot of things.
That's
as
true.
Someone who lives, as two people that live in Kentucky, I can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. You know. Okay, so the last thing I read was This Is Our Pact by Ryan Andrews. This is another second book. Let me just tell you. Beautiful hardcover.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. I love second books. I love them so much. I don't know if I've ever been disappointed with the second book.
Yeah, I don't think I have. Which is crazy, you know?
Yeah. Oh, wait. His name is Damn Ian. I like that. Man, have you read this one?
I got through half of that one too, and then I had to return it.
No.
But I enjoyed what I read, and I was like, I should probably get that.
It's very cute. Yeah. So it centers around this group of friends, and their goal for the night is to, because I guess every year they let these like lanterns go into the water, and so these kids are like, okay, we're gonna follow the lanterns to the end of the river, and we're gonna see where they end up. And that's kind of this goal. So like this group of kids, they're like, we're gonna do it. We're gonna ride, and no one looks back. They have like a little like pact about it and everything. But these group of friends actually suck.
Yeah.
You've got this kid in the front with the glasses who probably came up with the whole idea, and all of his friends pretty much like nah, I don't want to go. You know, they get far and like, I gotta go home. This is taking a long time. And there's also this other kid who's kind of riding behind them that they keep making fun of. Now he and the main glasses guy like are kind of friends, and they kind of were raised near each other. But his friends are always making fun of him, so he kind of makes fun of him too, so they won't make fun of him. Now eventually when all of his friends leave, it's just him and that kid together. So this kid that everybody's making fun of is the one that like sticks it out with him, and they keep riding farther and farther to follow these lanterns. So the whole book has these like beautiful colors in it. I really like it. And it kind of becomes this big like fantasy adventure. This would make a great movie, like a great animated movie.
I can see that, yeah.
Because they're riding down, the first thing they run into is this adorable bear, this little polar bear with this big like fishing basket, who's also on his way to find the lanterns, because the lanterns to him are fish that he catches. Because if he doesn't catch them in time, they become stars.
You know, the usual.
So yeah, so they travel through here. You know, the whole purpose is to kind of see the end of this, right? But of course, along the way, they find these other creatures and fantasy places and all these other people living in like the sky and more bears and this whole crazy adventure. And it's so cute. Please pick it up. It's more than I thought it was going to be. And it's just this wonderful little trip.
Yeah, that art is just gorgeous.
About like giving it away, but the colors are nice. But is it better with ketchup or mustard? Hayden, stop! I'm not gonna eat the book.
Look, guys, if a book smells weird, we're gonna tell you about it. Okay.
Okay, now I want it. Giant teddy bear reminds me of Digimon. I dig it. Freddie, you said the magic word. Do you know how big of a Digimon fan I am? I'm a really big Digimon fan.
The magic word.
Larry, who knew keeping your word leads such a beautiful adventure? Wonderful adventure. Larry, that's so nice. You say the nicest things. But yeah, so...
You did it?
Oh, so you read it too. Good. Man, the bummer about checking out all these wonderful books from the library is now that I want them to own. All I want for Christmas is just like all the first, second books. I keep adding books to my wish list, hoping that like my mom or my fiance or somebody would be like, yeah, let's do books. And I never get books. My mom's like, no, I'm not gonna. It's like if I put a regular book in there, like a novel or like
then she'll
biography, she would buy it. But because it's like a comic book, she won't. Your family's so much cooler than mine.
I was gonna say that's the opposite of my parents. I'm like, here's my IST list, and my dad's like, here's my IST list, and I'm like, cool.
It's so nice. Yeah, my mom does not do. I think 1 year she got me video game stuff, and I was like,
what's happening?
I was like, this PS4 game has anime girls on it,
oh,
Mom.
Wow.
What's this? Won't do it.
Maybe she'll surprise you 1 year. Would be nice.
I hope so. I'm like, please, I have a whole wish list. Just buy me books. She's like, I'm not going to buy you comic books. I'm like, but the first, second books look a little more like books, though.
It's
like
true.
Books.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, this one has a lot of text in it. Tell her to get this one.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, there's some, well, you know, you could try.
Larry, I now have a first, second shelf thanks to the two of you. Good.
Yeah.
I want one. See, I don't have a first, second shelf. They look so beautiful together.
Yeah. The thing is, they are so easy to get from the library, so I just end up getting them there, and I don't buy that many.
Yeah.
But that helps. That still supports things. People don't realize
That's true.
that. That still directly supports the publisher.
And that was actually a big discussion recently.
Yeah.
And you saw on Twitter, like Kyle and a lot
yeah.
of other
Donnie Cates started that, I think.
yeah, comic creators were talking about how, like, you know, because a lot of people are downloading their books illegally to read them, and they can even see the amount of like downloads these are getting, right?
Which is a lot more than they're selling.
Yeah. And it's such a big issue because that's not money going to them, and the people, they're like, oh well, I'm going to buy it later.
And then they complain about the comics getting canceled. It's like, you're directly part of that issue. Yeah.
Right. And people forget that, like, you know, going to your library is still supporting them. You know, and we've proved that too. Like with Terry Moore came on here, he said, you know, part of his success has been hitting up this library circuit. Same for Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
Right. Like that money still goes to them. Like,
yeah, and oftentimes, like, libraries have to pay a premium for books because they are checked out so much, so they will pay a higher price, and that money still, again, goes to the publisher, trickles down to the writers and the artists and stuff, so they're still getting money. Yeah. Sometimes it's per checkout, like, it does vary on how the licenses work for those things. Hoopla, money for every checkout you do goes to the publisher and the writers and the creators and stuff, so these things actually truly matter. And you're not just checking out a book that, like, you're like, oh, it's not going in their pocket anyway, because a lot of these people are trying to justify illegally downloading by saying, well, what's the difference between getting something for free at the library? Well, it's not free, and that's the thing, they're still paying for it, you know.
And the more this book is checked out, right, at the library, then maybe they order more copies. I know that a lot of my library, because my library is like it's a big town one, so there's a lot of different branches, but they'll have several copies of a lot of these graphic novels, which is always very surprising. But yeah, so anyways.
Yep, that became a big hubbub. I never understand the audacity of people who, like, will do that and then tweet to the creators like, I illegally downloaded that and I think it's fine because I waited for the hardcover. And it's like, well, but things often don't get to the hardcover state because you didn't buy them at the state that you read them, you know?
Yeah.
That's why it's like, I'm still going to pick up Buffy in singles because I want that to do well. I want there to be a hardcover. And so if I can support it that way, that's like my one thing that I'm going to be like, yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Drew, I can't watch Crisis right now because I don't have cable. So I have to watch it tomorrow on the app. What's we got? I still need to finish Red Sonny, but I got distracted because I've been watching Dragon Ball Super for the first time. But yeah, I saw your post about that. Do you remember Neil Gaiman's experiment in making American Gods available digitally for free? It resulted in increased sales and increased checkouts from libraries. Really? I didn't know about that. I'm not surprised.
That reminds me of do you remember when Coldplay did that with, like, one of their albums?
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they were like a pay what you want, like, and it could be like a penny or nothing. Yeah. And I think that worked out for them as well, but it's an interesting experiment, but not everybody can do that. Neil Gaiman has the money to do that, you know? Yeah,
well, and his wife did something similar too. So I wonder if he was inspired by her or she was inspired by him, because she kind of started that whole, like, Amanda Palmer started that whole, this, like, well, listen, my fans, if I do pay what I want, I'm still successful. I don't have to worry about going all these other hoops. Which I like. Oh, Radiohead did the same thing. Yep. Same with Radiohead's In Rainbows album.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think it's really cool. And I know for me, like, you know, sorry, I just whacked my head right here. Like, even, you know, reading these books in the library just makes me want to go buy them.
Yeah, totally. And then the people who can't won't, you know, and that's great. We have that resource.
Like, right? Comixology Unlimited and stuff like that. Like, there's books I've read on there. I'm like, oh, I want to go own that now. But I know it's not the same for a lot of people.
Or it's like, you know, people complain about Comixology having, like, one volume or two volumes, but not all the volumes.
Well, they have
I think
to do it like that.
they have to, and I think that's really smart because there's been so many times where I've done that. I've read like the first two, and I'm like, well, I can't get the third one. Well, I'm gonna end up buying the third one because it gets you interested, and now you know that this is something you like. You're not gonna just blind buy and then hate it because I think we've all done that, you know, and that's the worst feeling.
But yeah, and I'm a binge reader too. So if I read a couple of volumes of something and I'm hooked, I'm gonna go ahead and buy the new one, next one. Like Strange in Paradise is similar like that on Comixology. So a lot of it's there for free. It's just randomly dispersed volumes that aren't.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really smart because if you're in the middle of it and you're like,
yeah, I gotta get it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Philip says I'm like that for anime. I get that too. Although, man, I'm so glad, like for manga right now anyways, like there's a way for me to read a lot of that stuff easily. Larry, I haven't. I want to so bad. It's on my wish list. Somebody tell people I know.
I read volume 1 and I loved it. I have volume 2 upstairs, so my library is getting those, so I'm really excited. It's definitely worth the hype if anyone wants to pick it up. There are only 3 out right now, so it's very accessible.
People are already cosplaying from it too. And I'm like, oh my god, I want to read it.
Yeah, the art is beautiful.
So man, there's definitely some like, I need to start planning my manga purchases and seeing what I want to like stock up on because there's some other stories like that I think you would like too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if you've ever read or watched Flying Witch.
I think I read the first 2 volumes. I really liked it, but I haven't finished it. Yeah.
Definitely read more and definitely watch the anime because the anime only has 1 season.
Oh, okay.
It's beautiful. Like it's
I'll check that out.
It's such
I really liked what I read.
Just chill anime, and it's just I don't know. It's heartwarming.
I like that.
I loved it, and I'm still upset that we didn't get another season because I think it was just amazing. No Aftershock Vault or TKO on Hoopla. Not enough revenue from that platform.
That's what I would guess, because even though you got to think about it, like they're probably not getting tons for every checkout that we do. Like I don't really know, and it probably does vary on publisher and licensing and a lot of stuff we will never know unless we work in that industry. But I kind of can't see Vault or TKO or Aftershock just because they're so small.
Yeah, and that's
jumping
probably
into that.
big. And they probably want people to continue to stay kind of focused on their website for stuff.
Yeah, totally. And I think people don't realize, like, you can suggest purchases at your library.
Yeah.
And I will say probably 95% of the time, they will buy whatever you tell them to. Because I know for a fact, a lot of librarians, and this came up in the discussion that Donnie Cates started, a lot of librarians chimed in and they said, we absolutely love when people suggest purchases for us to get, because then we know at least one person will check that out. Otherwise they're kind of guessing, right? They're doing an educated guess, but they don't really know. So, and I'll tell you what, like I started doing that at my library and I'm like, why haven't I been doing this the whole time? Every single thing, I've probably suggested about 20 or so by now. Yeah. They have bought every single comic book I have told them to buy.
Man.
And it's the best. And then it's like, okay, if I didn't like that, well, now I don't have to go buy it. Or if I loved it, that's great. It's there for someone else to get now,
See, they need you to do some, like, you should volunteer to do some, like, monthly little written review for their...
Yeah, I'd be like, guys, get this. They have if you've been there, they have a really nice section anyway, but it's becoming nicer because I'm telling them to get stuff.
Man, I haven't been in forever. I'm sure I can use somebody's address to check out stuff. Although they want to get the books back for 5 million years because I'm not always there.
But you could get Hoopla, like I said.
Ooh.
That's your way into Hoopla.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's worth it.
All right. So, guys, our plan we're gonna email Emily and ask to choose Junji Ito's book No Longer Human for our pick of the month.
That's the plan. Yeah.
And depending on how our schedule goes, we'll probably that'll be the first review we do in January. So for our first show in January, we'll review No Longer Human by Junji Ito. So that'll be our first book club of 2020. And for Wednesday's show, we'll be doing our TKO review.
Yes.
As of right now, we'll have a Wednesday show coming up, and it looks like a Sunday show right after. So we'll see.
Yeah, and we're thinking right now our Sunday show is going to be our year-end review, like our favorites of 2019, and everybody loves that. So I know I read a ton of great stuff this year. I think you did too. I think we're gonna have a lot of first, second books on there.
Man, so I'm gonna forget. I'll have to go back and look at our old shows and be like, what did I read?
That's why I got Goodreads, girl.
Man, I just cannot be organized enough to do that.
I get you.
I just can't.
Do we know when No Longer Human comes out? I'm trying to figure that out because I can't remember.
Let's look at in-stock trades.
Coming soon.
You know what's really riveting? People that like
watch our
faces while we're looking. I don't know why we're both looking. One of us is gonna find this first. I just got distracted. So I'm like, oh, that's coming out.
Yeah, Matthew mentioned that he wants to check out the Sentient book. I mean, it's going to be no surprise to anyone, but this was my favorite of all of them, and it's totally worth the hype. So we'll talk about it more Wednesday, but yeah, this is great.
Highlighter.
Come on now.
I know that. Come on. I mean, they sell a lot of smut, though. I mean, so you can check out a lot of smut, so... we will be doing a end of year best of. What Amazon, Hulu, Netflix would you recommend?
It's not a me question. I don't know.
Shield Hero, 7 Deadly Sins, A Silent Voice is on there. That new movie, A Silent Voice. I really liked it.
Ooh, I love the manga.
Yeah. There's a lot of good anime on Netflix now. Hunter x Hunter, just understand that the manga is going to be on hiatus forever.
Sad day.
That's so good. Yeah. Watch Shield Hero. Ooh, watch Chihaya Furu if that's on there too. It's so good. Is Sentient on IST?
No. You cannot get any TKO books on IST, sadly. You have to go to their website.
Yep. Have you watched Harley Quinn show on DCU? Not yet. Right now, I'm keeping up with The Mandalorian and my DCCW shows. And I'm busy playing AI Somnium Files on Switch and reading. So I'll jump on that eventually. Heard Hellsing Ultimate's good. I've heard that too. I've never got into Hellsing. I think I missed that boat early on.
Yeah, they're coming out with those nice hardcover editions.
Oh, that's true.
For the manga. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. So yeah, we will see you all on Wednesday. Don't forget, please buy from instocktrades.com.
Do it.
If you want to read along with us, you can read the TKO books digitally too.
Yes.
So you do have that option if you want to read with us in time. Now there are 4 books, so
yeah. Also, they have the first issue of all of them available for free that you can check out before you get them, which is cool. I think a lot of more companies need to do that. That's a good way to see if you're gonna like the book or not.
Mm-hmm.
So you can check that out. But yeah, IST, go there. You're gonna get great deals. You can get a lot of the books we talked about today. All those first, second books that we love. You can get on IST, and you should, because they're the best.
Please do. All right, so we will see you soon. Have a good night.